welcome back.
Hi.
With us in studio today is Vickki.
Yes, Vickki. VickkiMUA. I know people are like, is that VickkiMUA? And it's like, no. At first I started off as a makeup artist, so it stands for makeup artist.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, Vickki, you want to give everybody your name,
Yes,
what you do, and who you do it to?
Yes, so my name is Victoria Masner. I'm an esthetician. A esthetician is basically someone that works on the skin. We do the cosmetic side of skin treatment rather than a dermatologist who assists with the medical side of treating skin.
Okay.
So we're the people, like you go to
Make
the
it
dermatologist. Pretty. Yeah, exactly. We're the ones that polish you, make you feel beautiful, make you all good, whatever you need.
If you got a weird spot, you go to a dermatologist.
Yep, weird spot. It's like that cancer, something going on, you go to them. You come to me if you want to be smooth.
Fair enough.
Yep.
So, and esthetician?
Yes, esthetician.
I said that right? Esthetician?
Yeah, now you got me thinking about it. Yes, esthetician.
Because it looks very different than it sounds.
Well, there's
not
okay.
Very different,
Well,
but
there's
it looks
a
different.
difference. There's a difference between two. Like there's one that's spelt with an AE, and then there's just this one. It's I think there's a difference, but I'm going to be honest, I don't really know.
Okay, you're this one.
Yeah, I'm this one.
So, how'd you get started into this? How'd you get started in this business?
Okay, well, okay. So puberty for me, I never really had like a lot of breakouts, but I had, the occasional breakout here and there. You know what teenager doesn't? Hit 18, got complete cystic acne, just out of nowhere. The first one of my family, first female of my family, later come find out it's my uncle that gave me this. And I got into makeup. Right.
Hold on, wait a minute. Your uncle gave you this.
Yes, so he's the one with the genetics with the cystic acne.
I thought acne was like a.
Yeah, no, completely understand. So it's like when all of this started popping up on my face, and none of the women on either sides of my family had it. It really put me in a position where I was like, I want to figure this out. Sure. 18, just graduated high school, looking forward to college. Finding myself. And having all of these painful red cysts all over my face that I can't really do anything about, it makes you want to be better. Well, in that pursuit...
What does that feel like? I've never had acne. I've never had
so
any kind of it.
There's different varying levels. My level that I have come to find out with me later on when I am 25, which actually about, what was it? Like 4 months ago? I found out that I am allergic to soy. So I had a lifelong soy allergy that never knew about, that I had since I was a kid, and what soy does to the body.
Did you eat soy growing up?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So as a
you're
baby,
eating this and you're like, why the hell am I breaking out?
Yes. And it was never bad, through puberty for whatever reason. When I hit 18, there's something called a second puberty, which is what I'm suspecting is what happened in mine. It just...
The second puberty for everybody or just women?
Yeah, like there's apparently two puberties. There's, your regular puberty where, classic one that everybody talks about. But around the age of 18, 19, early 20s, you hit this second growth spurt where this is where you become more permanently into the adult version of yourself that you're going to be.
I'll be damned.
If that makes sense. Yeah, most people, that's when they'll start filling out. Most people will stop growing by the age of like 25, 26. And from that growth of 18 to that is that second growth spurt. Well, for that second growth spurt, I ended up getting a lot of cysts. So imagine a ball underneath your skin. There's this huge red bump. For instance, I have one right here by my lip. You can't do... Yeah, no, because I covered up the makeup. Boom. Hence the word MUA. Anyway. So it is something that's in the deepest layer of the skin. It's all the way to the epidermis, which is a layer of the skin right before the muscles. Okay. It is where our collagen's held. So it's so deep in the skin that I can't do anything about it. So sometimes if you move a certain way, depending on where they're at, they can hurt. Now imagine a face full of them. And they're these lumps that are all underneath your skin. It can disfigure your face. It makes your self-confidence go down. And I have been through every single treatment. You can name it on Pinterest. And I guess that's what finally got me inspired, because I ended up getting into makeup. Okay. And I wanted to have a smoother complexion. I really didn't like how the makeup industry makes women feel really insecure about themselves.
Not just the makeup industry,
skincare, everything.
Instagram. Jesus.
Society.
Christ. Yeah. So interesting though. So like you you're dealing with this form of acne, and so you were like, oh, well, I'm gonna get in the makeup industry because I want smoother skin.
Yeah, well, I got into makeup to cover it up,
Sure.
originally, but then I started to enjoy the artistry side of the makeup industry. And part of the artistry side of the makeup industry is photoshopped. And I did not like the fact that I felt so self-conscious about my skin, to the fact that I felt like I had to edit every single photo I had. Couldn't post it without it. I felt like people looked at me and judged me, and they do, you know, because...
Well, yeah, because they're used to all this Photoshop shit.
Exactly. There is a bias within, our society about how you're supposed to look. And that really got me into it. Did months and months and months of trying to convince my grandmother to let me go to beauty school rather than, hey, college ain't working out. Sorry.
Well, you'd mentioned college earlier. Did you go to college?
Yeah, I did go to college for about 2 years, but ADHD, math don't make good friends.
Gotcha.
Not my friend.
So back to, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. Obviously,
no, don't worry. So am I.
So back to how you got into this. You got into makeup.
Yeah, I got into makeup, and I was like, you know what? I want to be able to get my skin to a controlled condition to where I can post my pictures without ever editing. And this picture right here on the screen actually has no edit. That is my skin. At that point, I still have hormonal breakouts, flare-ups, accidentally eat some soy, being a woman. And that is what you see. And that's what I want to inspire, because so many girls, including myself.
Yeah, I think that's a good looking picture.
Thank you. Thank you. That's after I cut soy out of my life completely. Yeah. So, found that out.
Well, but no, I mean, that's interesting how much the industry has affected you.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So that, you're pointing to this picture, and hopefully I'm smart enough to show this on the screen, of what, this is a good looking picture of a person who is not photoshopped, skin. And you can do that. You can achieve that without
and
a computer.
Well, so many people feel so helpless about their skin. I have people of all walks of life that come into my office. I have people dealing with severe acne, to just people, just having normal types of skin, looking for, a little bit of relief. I have had people come in with vitiligo. I think I'm saying that right. I always mess up that condition.
You're going to describe that one.
It's the one that Michael Jackson had, where the melanin recedes out of the body, and you have the patches. Yeah. I have people that come in. I've had a young girl of 13, come in, and just having a facial like that, helping whatever their goals are and achieving what they want, changes their point of view in their life forever, because it changed mine. I suffer from body dysmorphia, and having cystic acne. That's one of the things that is biggest about cystic acne, is it's not only just physically painful, it's mentally painful.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that. I could see how, probably even helpless, right? Or hopeless.
Hopeless. Like, you feel like this is just me. Exactly. Because you're always told, it'll clear up, you'll get through puberty, you'll be fine. It's like, well, I'm walking testament that didn't happen when I was in puberty. So I wanted to help men, women, children, whoever.
So how'd you make the switch from makeup to...
Well, okay, so funny story. I originally thought the title of esthetician taught more makeup skills than it initially did. So I actually went in this with, completely by accident.
Awesome.
I thought I knew what I was signing up for, but then the first day of school, my class of estheticians, we all were really into makeup. And the class after us was not that much. And meaning the next graduation class. Well, the dean came out and she said, if y'all think y'all are here to learn makeup skills, I'm going to let you know you're disappointed. And I'm just sitting here. I'm like, well, I might as well stick in with it, I guess. I'm already here. I can't walk away. Grandma's going to be mad.
College to beauty school. So you said you did go to college.
Yes, I did. I did a little bit, but math wasn't.
Was that right out of high school?
Right out of high school, yes.
That's so unfair, I think. It seems like there's so... My son's 21. So I'm like, when he got out of school, he's looking at me and I'm like, do what you want to do. If you want to go to school, I'll help you go through school.
Thank you.
If you
Thank
don't,
you. Give them options.
Well, because I think it's unfair, because it's like, you're 18 years old, 17 in some cases. You have no life experiences. How can you decide what you want to do for the rest of your life?
I'm more happy now than I have ever been. I love what I do every day. I get to be my own boss. I get to work and come and go as I please. I get to learn at my pace, which is absolutely great, because in school, very big history of feeling like I've been left behind
Yeah.
a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
you know,
with you there.
some subjects I excel at, and I'm just like, we're not going fast enough. But some of them were like, what?
Well, I often joke when it comes to education about me is that my education is very long and very expensive because I don't do shit like I don't read. I can't.
know how that
I can't
feels.
apply out of a book. You know, I can't. You know, I've tried. You know, it's just like I got to read something 20 times, and I'm like, what am I doing again? What am I doing in my life?
I'm so sorry you've explained this to me 7 times, but it is not absorbed in my brain.
Yes.
So I'm just not going to ask anymore and act like I know.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, education is it doesn't necessarily mean, and I've said this before, education doesn't necessarily mean proper schooling or whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
It can be
education is
skill.
just education. You know, you know, you have to, you know, like in my business, my main business is reverse design. We draw blueprints there, and I continuously learn. For the last 20 years, I learn something more and more. You know what I mean? And it's at, like you said, it's at my pace, but it usually comes out of a need. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, completely. There's a demand. You're needing
well,
to supply.
I'm getting these weird kind of buildings, and we're doing this weird kind of thing, and I'm like, how can I make this more efficient and faster, more legible? You know, oh, it turns out there's a tool for that. You know,
No, completely understand.
So-
For me, it's like I want to learn different skills, bring in different services to tackle different issues that my clients are experiencing, and that takes schooling, that takes in-person, you know, learning. Because I'm sorry, I'm not one of those people where I can just pay for an online video class. So I feel
you know how many of those I got stacked up? I've got lots of them stacked up because every time I see one, I'm like, oh, I want to know that. And then it's like I get 2 or 3, if I'm lucky, I get 2 or 3 sessions in, and I'm like, what did I sign up for again? You know,
Nope,
this isn't.
the same.
Oh, I've got.
I'm just like,
I've
what
got-
did they say? I don't remember anything. I know I've been sitting here for an hour. What did they say?
I could have probably bought this building with as many of those damn things that I've got.
No, completely understand. Well, you picked a tactile like industry to be in, and so did I. So it looks like it's working out for both of us.
Yeah, it's definitely you know, no regrets or whatever. But right, so I got into drafting, drawing blueprints. I got into that because I worked for my dad right out of high school. Well, I worked for my dad since I was old enough to walk, but right out of high school, we used to build self-storage buildings, right? So hell, it didn't take me long to realize that I didn't like being out in the heat in the summer and the cold in the winter, you know? So, and then at the same time, you know, the drawings that we were getting were kind of shitty. And I'm like, you know, I made a smart ass comment about, you know, anybody could do a better job. And then next thing I know, my career was laid out in front of me. It wasn't because I went to school and I was like, oh, I want to draw blueprints for self-storage. Who the hell would, I would worry about somebody who says something like that, you know? But, you know, so again, going back to the young kid thing, you know, I didn't have really a whole lot of life experiences. I realized, you know, hey, this part of employment sucks. Let me see if I can do something else, you know what I mean? Right. So anyways, interesting. I guess out of beauty school, you went to work for other people?
Yeah, straight out of beauty school.
So how does that work? So this is what's fascinating to me about different industries, right? So like realtors, for example, realtors, you know, if you didn't know, you could assume that a realtor is an employee for a brokerage, and that's not the case.
No, they have to be sponsored, right?
Well, they hang their license with a brokerage, right?
Yeah.
So, but a realtor is an independent contractor. They are, you know, they are their own business.
They
You know
need
what I mean?
a sponsor. I got several of them as my clients. They are the sweetest people.
They can be.
You can't.
They can be.
Well, I haven't
My
had a bad
ex-wife is-
experience so far.
I've got lots of them.
Oh, Lord.
And I've only bought one house.
Oh no.
But anyways, my point is just that whenever you introduce the term license, things kind of change a little bit.
Yes, there's a difference between being certified and being licensed. We do run into this quite a lot in our industry, and I do have to, like, for instance, a lot of my clients are looking for Botox. There is or you know what? Actually, no. I'm going to use a more easier one that's going to be explained. Eyelash extensions.
Okay.
Perfect one. There was a girl online that had went and got a set of eyelash extensions over in California, and she had a really bad reaction. Infection happened. Now, reactions to eyelash extension glue isn't uncommon. I mean, it's glue near the eye. It is going to make some people sensitive, but she got a bacterial infection. So we started
Don't tell me
looking up.
she lost her eyes.
No, she did not. Thank God. She got it in soon enough. You know, they got her on antibiotics. She's all good and everything. But here is where the terms licensed and certified really matter. So the woman that she had gotten the set from on her Instagram, it said said that she was a beauty school in training. Well, that means she's not licensed yet. She's not anything. So I looked up her license, come to find out she is a LVN, which is a nurse, which is like, okay, you got some education, but not in the aesthetics community. Looked up California's regulations. You have to be a licensed esthetician. She did take a certified class. Now, that is a whole other issue. So
it sounds like she was kind of hanging her hat on her LVN license and saying she's a licensed.
Yeah, exactly.
How would I know if, I mean...
How do you know if I would have the licensing and things like that?
You could just say, yeah, I'm licensed.
Yeah, no, totally understand. So we have to display our license somewhere within our room. In Texas, what you can do is you can go to what is called TDLR. They regulate tons of things from plumbing to...
TDLR? Is that like TDLR.com or something?
Texas Department of License and Regulation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they control a lot of things in Texas, estheticians.
Sounds like.
Exactly.
Is that new or is that how it's always been?
It's how it's always been. It's getting less and less. Like, for instance, over in San Antonio, I had heard there was an esthetician that was doing dermaplaning, and dermaplaning is outside of our licensing. It's actually regulated by the health board, so it goes into nursing. And you need to work with a doctor to do that because we use a scalpel to shave the face, takes off dead skin. Well, what had ever happened, whether it was from the oil on the face that made her slip, the technician, or whether the client sneezed, there could have been a number of dudes.
So let me just stop you real quick. Now, what I heard was scalpel, oil, slip.
Yes.
I don't know where this is going.
I'll just cut it short. She ended up having to go to the surgery and getting reconstructive surgery. And
reconstructive surgery?
Yes.
And she went in for what? To remove dead skin?
Yes, to remove dead skin. Well, here's the thing. She's not the only one that left with consequences. The poor client. Hopefully she's fine. I haven't heard anything more about it, but the esthetician got arrested and she got charged with practicing medicine without a license.
So what's a penalty for that? Is that severe?
Felony.
Okay, so
yeah, you go to prison. You have like a substantial, I think it's like a $10,000 fine, and she's losing her license. She's never going to get her license back.
Well, it doesn't sound like she had one. If she's practicing medicine without a license.
Well, no. It's because it's out of our field. Yeah, because it's out of our field, and
so the license she did have, she's losing it.
Yeah, and exactly. And with me, I won't step out of my bounds. I know my licensing, I know my regulations and things.
So, how long would you go out on your own?
I opened up a week before COVID shut down. And so there was about a year out of work, couldn't do anything. But once those vaccines came in, they have been just pumping. Yeah. And so this is about, it feels like the third year, but I want to say in between the second to third year of being, a business. I want to bring on this treatment called microcurrent. It is referred to as the electric facelift. Basically, the client will hold a metal rod in their hand while I have these two other ones. It's really cool.
I'm sensing a side business.
And and we use electricity to basically work out the muscles and give a facelift that's non-invasive.
You're going to run electricity through somebody's face.
Yes. Controlled, though. Controlled. I have the machine. It's working. It's good.
The electric chair is controlled.
Well, that's why we got to go to school. That's why, on a technicality, I could have technically done this out of beauty school, but I was like, no, you know what? I don't know how to do this. I want to get the certification, so I don't mess up someone's face.
Do you have to carry any product? I imagine you got to carry some stuff, right?
Yes, I do.
And then, like gloves and stuff.
Oh, God,
there's a little bit of inventory.
Oh, yes. Gloves are very expensive.
Well, everything, right? It's not just, but
but it's a percentage of
the bed and, there's all kinds of stuff that you have over there. So it's not like, you could just, it's kind of like an involved thing here.
Oh, yeah, completely. Boxes of gloves, like before COVID was maybe like $5 for a pair of 200. It's like $15, $17 for one box of 200.
How often do you go through a box?
I haven't really honestly kept track, but a lot. I can tell you that. For instance, when I was waiting on my new upgrade of my bed that Amanda mentioned, it took about 3-4 months to get here.
If you go to a barber shop, it's highly likely that the chairs that are in there are all rented out by separate barbers.
Yes.
So I could have quick cuts, whatever, and then it's in Joe Schmo's barbershop.
Yes.
Is it the same with your industry?
Yeah, kind of. Yes. So there's several ways that we can do that. There is things like what with I have. The woman has her own business.
Okay.
The building is all hers, but she rents the back half to me, and I am a completely separate entity from her.
Okay.
We're both just in the same industry. There are some where like JC's Salon by JC's. Mm-hmm. It's like a big old building that one person owns, but they rent out to each individual person, and they're known for that.
Now, the business side of what you do,
yes.
right? You have to have a license.
Yes.
So you're registered in some kind of capacity with the state. I'm sure you have sales tax.
Yes, I do.
Sales tax, that's something that you got to give the state every month. Bookkeeping, is it just you and your business?
Yeah, it's just little old me. I'm everything.
So, do you have any ambitions of it being more than just you?
Yes, I do want to grow to a full-size spa. At one point, I think I'm still going to go for this, but my biggest dream, like in beauty school, is I wanted to own my own cosmetic line.
Okay.
I absolutely love makeup. I love skincare. I love the form of expression. I love making people feel beautiful and confident and showing that. To me, it's like showing your soul.
Sure.
And I wanted to have my own cosmetic and skincare line that embodied that power of the freeness of the soul between the decades of the 60s and the 80s.
Okay.
Because I just absolutely love those decades. Ooh, sorry. It was all about expression and just being who you are and living. There wasn't so much judgment as far as like, oh, you're expected to look like this. Oh, you're expected to dance like this.
Right.
It just everyone did what they wanted.
You want to have your own line of cosmetics.
Yes.
That's the dream.
Yes, and that is doable in our industry.
That is what?
That is doable in our industry.
So between then and now, full-size spa, that'd be a stepping stone?
Yeah, I'm also having like some thoughts of maybe going and getting a little bit higher education, maybe going into nursing school, so then I can do Botox. Do Botox, more medical sides at the esthetician, hopefully have a medical spa when it comes into being full-size, just because it's so fascinating. I love science.
So, full-size spa, then a medical spa.
Yes.
And then your own cosmetic line?
Yeah.
That's is that the...
That's the dream.
Nice. Yeah. I'd imagine you kind of know what you need to do to get there.
Yes.
So, what does that look like?
Going to school, just because Texas, unfortunately, is not one of those 3 states that consider what is called a medical esthetician to be its own branch of education. There is a certain word in our industry that is not quite a dermatologist, but you're not quite an esthetician. Like you're like in this middle range. Okay. You're like right in the middle, right? And in the state of Texas, you're considered that if you work in a medical spa. That doesn't mean you have to go get the education. A lot of them typically go get education of some form.
Yeah, I'm sure higher education. The boss wants you to have that information.
Yeah, exactly. But like up in Oregon, Washington, and then I can't remember the third state, medical esthetician is actually their own branch of education, like their own thing.
How do you source your sales? How do you source your clients? Sales is broad. I shouldn't say sales. How do you source your clients?
Usually through Yelp. I do a lot of marketing through there, doing ads. My own Instagram. I also have a Facebook page for my business. And typically through word of mouth, I go out and I go talk to people. I go hand out business cards. I try to pull my family and friends in, like, hey, if you know anyone.
Where do you hand business cards out at?
I usually go around all over the place. I like to go down to the Riverwalk just because there's a lot of people there. Sure. I'm starting to learn my way around San Antonio.
You need to call me. That's how do you walk me through that?
Oh well, no. There's actually a way I do this.
You ever notice how bad your skin looks?
No, I don't do that. No, oh my God, I would never do that. No, typically I'm a very sweet person, and I like to encourage people. And when I see some aspect of a person that I like, I compliment them. I'm like, oh hey, hey, I like your outfit, and you have beautiful skin. I should know, I'm an esthetician, so and usually that baits them, and they're like, "What's that?" And then the talk just happens, or they'll gravitate to me because of my mullet, and so they'll be like, "I love your mullet. Where do you go. And I was like, oh, well, I went to beauty school with my hairdresser and he does it. I was like, oh, do you do hair? No, I'm an esthetician. What's that?
So you talk shop, basically, is how you...
Is that what it is?
Talk shop, this is a guy version of what I don't know. So, but what I'm getting at, though, is like... for my businesses, for example, and for a lot of different entrepreneurs, they have a marketing plan or an idea of how to get their business out there so that people know that they're there to call, right?
Yes.
So when you're just starting out, when you're just starting a business, it's very difficult to be anywhere online that people will notice you.
Yes.
So, like there's chambers of commerce and, there's different things that different types of businesses would try to employ, right?
Yes.
So, but it sounds like for you just get out and you start talking about.
Yes. Oh, and the other thing, now that I understand what you're asking a little bit more, I also started on Groupon. Groupon was a good way just because at the beginning of that COVID pandemic, and it was the absolutely perfect thing.
Groupon, that's great marketing because it's, you get, if somebody's looking for.
That's how I found Amanda.
That's what she said.
Yeah, that's how me and Amanda found each other.
How hard is it to list your business on Groupon?
Not that hard.
No?
No, not at all.
So what does, is it a big, do they require you to do a certain percentage or?
So usually they'll take anywhere between 20 to 30% of profits, maybe even half, just depending on what you're doing. They make like customary to you, and they take some of that profit from what you get from Groupon to pay for the advertising that they do, basically, that they don't charge you. Right. So that's their payback.
Sure.
Typically, I offer the Groupons just to get people in the door, kind of, taste it, see what it's about. Because a lot of people that come in, they're first timers. They actually never had anything done.
So outside of Groupon and talking shop with people, you don't really market. I mean, I know you said you had an Instagram page and a Facebook page, but like, you're not paying for a service I don't know, an ad in the paper or
no, not
like that.
Not anything like. I tried to do the in-mail stuff, but the
mailers.
It was really complicated and I couldn't understand it, and I kept like giving myself a headache. I'm like, I give up.
So what's tough about that is, for me, anyways, I'm an odd duck when it comes to how people think, because I'm usually in the minority. I think about shit way different than most people. So the problem with that is when I'm looking to see what normal people do, I'm like, nobody's going to buy this. Nobody's interested in this. If I get mail and then it's like, I shuffle it and the big stuff, I kind of go like this, and I know that's all advertisement, you know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, now I'm left with what could be bills, you know what I mean? Or something, right? So then it's just like, so I'm not going to put mailers in there because I just throw them away. You know what I mean? And then so like a buddy of mine was like, dude, you know how much business I get by mailers? Are you serious? People call you with those things? So I'm like, again.
I use mailers for pizza. They give good deals.
And so, I need to have people. I need to have normal people do my marketing, I guess.
No, I completely understand. Most of the business that I get, people are looking specifically to fix a problem. Not so much through like ads like, oh, I should try that out. No, they're like, no, I have scarring. I want to get rid of this. Microdermabrasion was originally created over in Europe for burn victims.
Oh, wow.
Yes, to resurface their skin. And so a lot of the people that I'm having come in search for these, they have some type of scarring, pitting within the skin. They have uneven tone, hyperpigmentation, which is just dark spots. For instance, you'll see, I don't know if you've seen some women and some men, they'll have these giant spots. Now I'm doing it. Of hyperpigmentation that goes over their face, and it's just like one solid thing. That's called melasma, and that happens after pregnancy, typically in women, or hormonal shifts, or the sun exposure. Okay. That's another reason why a lot of people are coming in for micros. They've been out in the sun. They're 80s children. They did the iodine and baby combo, and now their skin is showing it, and they want something to kind of smooth that out. Okay. Take away that age, take away that dead skin, and look softer, more even.
Okay. Yeah. So people are finding you because they need your service. They want your service.
Yes. Yes.
You just got to put a stake in the yard and say, hey, everybody, I'm here, and I got lots of good reviews.
Yes, sir.
So that's good. Are things happening in your business like you'd envisioned them? Are they better? Are they worse? Or are they, So like once, again, right, so the first 6 months, that's horrible for any entrepreneur to go into business and not have a client for six-ish months because the whole freaking world shuts down. That's Seriously. Not normal. So we'll just pretend like that didn't happen since, you're kind of a little bit established now.
Yeah.
So with that exception, do you think that your business is happening the way you envisioned it?
It's getting busier. I'm wanting to learn more, so that's why I'm taking more classes. I'm having more of a thirst to get more services in, to learn deeper about things.
Sure.
So for me personally, on my level, I feel like I'm plateauing, but I'm doing everything I can to elevate that.
Yeah. I love that you said that. It's just in case anybody missed that. And she said she feels on a personal level that she feels like she's plateauing. You're 25, right? Mm-hmm. I love that you said that because, if you're not paying attention to your capacity for being able to do more with whatever it is, and it doesn't even have to be in your business. It could be like, you could work for an oil change place. And if you're not, reading a book or watching some sort of education for personal development, I think that's an issue. And I think so many people just get so caught up in the 9 to 5, it's like, okay, I'm so exhausted from my day. I'm going to come home. I'm just going to put my feet up for a minute, so.
No, you get burned out quick in my industry.
My little tangent there. I think that's awesome that you said that the way that you did. So back to that though, you feel like you're personally plateauing that now
because I'm not learning anything new. I want to learn something new. I mean, that's why I left my last 9 to 5,
Really? Yeah. Because it just wasn't fulfilling your...
Yeah, it wasn't challenging. There's only so much you can do to waxing eyebrows.
Okay, so we're about halfway through and I'm going to do... I got to come up with a better name for this, but I'm calling it the lightning round. There's 4 decks in front of you. Pick a color, but don't grab the, what do you call it? Don't grab the deck because I'm going to shuffle it. You pick red? Ready?
Yes.
Question number 1. Would you rather be in shape and have a great body, but an ugly face, or have a gorgeous face, but be overweight?
I guess I would rather have a beautiful face and an ugly body.
Okay.
Because people...
quote unquote ugly body, right?
Yeah, quote unquote.
What these people think is ugly.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of the times you experience people who are very attractive, they're very lonely. The reason why is people usually gravitate only to them because of that attractiveness or something, where I feel like whatever is considered an ugly body, people wouldn't be thinking so much about that in the attractiveness and get more to learn about me, who I am, and instead of falling in love with the illusion of what I am. Would
you rather spend the night in a dumpster or the night in a porta potty?
Dumpster,
I would rather not do either.
Dumpster, because I can clean up the dumpster and I'll have a lot of room, and if you give me Clorox wipes and stuff, I know how to clean it. And I can make that a whole room. And then you can shut it on top and not have someone tip you over.
All right. Would you rather wear a onesie for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for a year, or a horse head costume?
Onesie, hands down. I already do that.
I would love to wear a onesie.
I already do that. You can ask her. Whenever I'm not in scrubs, I'm in a onesie. I love onesies. They're amazing. They're warm, and you never have to worry about nothing.
Would you rather pull a tooth with a pair of pliers or brand yourself with a cattle prod?
Cattle prod.
Cattle prod?
Cattle prod. Yeah.
Nothing hurts like tooth pain.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. For
me, I'm like...
I couldn't do that.
Would you rather have your most embarrassing photos posted on Facebook or accidentally fall in public and the video go viral?
Neither of those bug me. I already post my most embarrassing pictures because you're not going to get the one up on me. I'm going to do it myself. So I guess falling down on a viral video, because at least I made people laugh.
Okay. You'd rather do that?
Yeah. I can look at it as no, they're not laughing at me. They're laughing because I made them laugh.
Hopefully they're laughing and they're not going...
Hopefully it's not a bad fall. Hopefully it's not a bad one.
That was the lightning round. What's the one thing that you wish you would have known before starting your business?
Better business planning. I thought it was going to be easier than I had first anticipated. And it is not always easy, especially working all on your own. You know, you're the manager, you're the boss, you're the cleaning lady, you're everything.
You're the everything.
Yeah, and I severely underestimated it, but honestly, I like the challenge.
Sure. Looking back, I would have taken a business class or a business course, just something to give me a heads up.
Yeah, exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
You know, so I can relate with you there. So far, what has been the biggest mistake you've made in this business?
Overworking myself. Overworking myself.
Like too many hours?
Too many people.
Too many people.
Too many people in one day.
Oh, I got you. You spread yourself too thin.
Yes.
Not giving people the attention they need.
Well, yeah. I mean, when I first came out of the pandemic, I was so desperate to work and craving to work so much because I didn't get to.
Now you're like, I got to take this when I can.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I can take them all. And then I learned really quick. I'm like, oh, crap, what did I get myself into? But I've learned better. When I first opened, I was open ridiculously long hours. And now I've cut it down, and so I have a little bit more of a backbone on scheduling.
Sure.
Because a lot of the times that also played into my biggest mistake was being too much of a people pleaser.
Yeah.
Not really standing my ground, you know, as a professional, being that, you know, I was just like everybody else, you know, I need money. Yeah. I want to run my business, you know.
It doesn't pay to be the hero.
Yeah.
You can't, you know, so, I mean, that's one of those things that you learn trial by fire, I suppose.
Yeah. I even at one point, I remember when I had first opened up, I only did this for like 2 months, but I didn't even have like a set schedule on days that it was open. I was like, I'll just come in whenever. Yeah, big mistake.
What I really like about the show is being able to talk to all the different types of professions out there, right? Yeah. So I know with everything that I've been directly involved in, as far as entrepreneurship, I personally feel like everything that I've been involved in, I've had to work those stupid 80-hour weeks to get it started.
Yes.
But that shouldn't be the end goal. You know what I'm saying? No. I mean, to get it going, to get it started, you got to work your face off. I get it; it's not a problem. But you shouldn't be content with saying, "Oh, well, this is just how it is to be in business."
Yeah, and
that's how it is at the beginning.
I made a mistake doing that. I'm like, I get into a habit of once I start doing things, I get stuck in that, and then I spread myself thin, and I'm just like, "What do I do?"
What is the best advice you've ever received? And it could be business related, it could be personal, it could be anything. What's the best advice you've ever got?
You have to live your life to be happy for you.
You have to live your life to be happy for you.
Because as many people as you meet in your life, the one person that you carry with yourself is yourself. Mm-hmm. It's okay to admit your faults. It's okay to admit your downfalls. It's okay to congratulate yourself when you do something. It's okay to change. It's okay to not change. It's okay to do things for you just because they're for you.
What would you say your favorite tool is in your business? Whether it's the admin
my extractions
side
tools, my extraction tools. It's my extraction tools. Yes, I love to get pimples out of faces. Yeah. I'm one of those people.
Extraction. So is that a broad term for a lot of different tools?
Yeah, for a lot of different tools. There's so many different ways and methods. I just like getting stuff out of people's faces. That's why I made a career out of it. I just love it.
What do you do the next 15 years?
I don't know. I haven't thought that far. I'm gonna be honest. I've only thought about like 5 to 10.
5 to 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, let's shoot me 10 years. 10 years out. Where do you?
I would like to have multiple locations.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really want to just stay in Texas.
Multiple locations around the country or around the state?
Around the country, okay. Yes. I would like to have a location in New Mexico.
Why New Mexico?
Well, it's a very sunny state, so lots of people have sun damage.
Okay.
Yeah, make good money
over
there. So
it makes business sense.
Yeah. Business sense.
Okay.
I would also love to have one over in California and New York, just because they are the mecca for beauties.
Sure.
You know, and then I guess in 15 years, international.
Okay.
Yeah, I would love to have something like over in Australia or Milan.
The education that you received, is it statewide or nationwide?
It is just statewide. They just teach you how to pass the test for the state. when you get out on your own, that's when you learn all of the little
education.
Yes.
That's funny. The realtors say the same thing. Mm-hmm. So, but with that in mind, what is different about applying lashes in Texas than in California? It's
just by state. Just by state. It just depends on what the state regulates. Their state board determines that. Well, California's probably
a bad example between Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's a better one. Just because like California and Texas are pretty much on the same page when it comes to eyelash extensions. But in Oklahoma, theirs is just based on their individual state board.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's not an international standard. Now, when it comes to traveling internationally, I guess there's a set standard. I haven't looked into if there's like how it's regulated. If it's regulated similar to us here in the United States.
Well, I mean,
country by country.
If you break it down to the different services that you provide, okay, your education is not only telling you how to do these things, but how to do them safe and how to do them safe for your customer.
Yes.
Or your client. So, excuse me. So I'm thinking that there's only so many ways you can skin that cat. I mean, you can be good at something or you could be bad at something, right? But the process has got to be close to the same.
Well, okay. So there's always new advancements coming out, new products, new processes, services coming in our industry. So it's always never ending. So it sounds like, oh, there's only so many ways, but it's honestly never stopping. It looks from this point that we're just never going to stop on evolving. So right now there's only actually 3 forms of dermabrasion. There is hydrodermabrasion, which uses water. There is crystal dermabrasion, which uses a jet stream of crystals. And there is diamond dermabrasion, which is what I do. We have this machine that sucks. I have a metal tool.
Literally.
No, like the best way to describe it's like a cat's licking your face. Like it's literally the best description. Like you can ask Amanda.
That sounds strangely interesting.
It's a very interesting feeling.
A cat licking your face?
I think Jasmine's had one. Have you had one? I've never done a micro on you. We need to do a micro on you. Anyways. And what I do is the diamond one where the metal head that is scraping against your skin, it has diamonds on it. So
sounds cheap.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. So we use a cleanser that softens the dead skin on top of your skin. And a lot of times, like for instance, elderly people, I love them. They're like a gold mine.
They're elderly, so they're probably retired and got a steady cash flow. And they got plenty of shit that they got to get worked on.
No, seriously, some of my best clients have been my elderly clients because it's like the transformation is just dramatic. I like the gross stuff. Okay. I like the gross stuff. I have gotten off so much skin that it looks like a pile of cocaine.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's like the best way. Like I have no other way to describe it, or like sugar. I guess you could use sugar, like powdered sugar, but I get big results. And the reason why I know that is because there's constant different techniques, constant different products coming out. Okay. So I have to keep learning. I just have to keep learning.
So, and that's fair, but for it to be different state by state, I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around.
Yeah, they're just, they have it different. I don't know how it works in other states.
I mean, it seems like with this, it seems like you could have, now internationally, that's a whole different question, but like nationally in the United States, it seems like.
Oh, okay. So to travel nationally within the United States, being an esthetician, being able to work in different states, you have to be dual licensed within that state. Now, the process in which it works is, for instance, Texas requires, I'm an esthetician, I want to go get licensed over in California. I think California has over 1,000 hours. So because I have 750 hours, and let's say, for instance, they have 1,000 hours, whatever gap in hours those are, I have to make up in that education, take whatever classes I need, and then take their test and pass. But if it is a state that requires the same level of education, meaning hours, as mine, all I have to do is take their state test. And then, boom, pass it. I am dualed to work in that state now. That's how it works.
Interesting.
Some states, also, there's even more intricacies. depending on if you are moving while you're in school, some states don't recognize certain schools. So you might have to transfer and start all over again. Yes, it's very complicated.
So is there a school that is recognized by all the states?
Not that I know of so far, no.
So somewhere along the way, if you want to be in all 50 states.
From what I'm understanding, you literally have to take every individual
state.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying I know that it's like regulated by the UE for the international one, but I don't know how the intricacies work on that end, if it's any similar.
So like the EU, right? So if you get a license to be in the EU, it sounds like it's for all of Europe.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. But
that's what it sounds like. It kind of needs to be here.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know why. Like because I thought it was unfair.
I'm not saying that you need to go make changes here. I'm not saying that you need to go approach.
I'm going to go to Congress. Change
I'm writing a letter. You bring up a great point.
It's not fair.
Do you feel like you have any competition?
No.
Why not?
There are plenty of people in this area. There are plenty of people seeking help. The beauty industry is only rocketing. It's only soaring, especially with the newer generation being heavily involved through TikTok. TikTok really blossomed and really brought to the mainstream media and general public about beauty. So because there's so many people, I don't feel like there's competition. There's enough for all of us. That's how I feel. I think it comes down to personality, skill, and everything. And if a client wants to go to someone else because they like someone else for some reason, then that's fine. That meant that client wasn't for me.
Right.
And got my losses. That's perfectly fine.
Well, I had a realtor, Brandy Cook, on here once, and she said something that I've never heard before that makes a lot of sense. There's an ass for every chair. There's
exactly.
You know what I mean? Just you could be perfect at what you do. But that doesn't mean that everybody's going to get along with you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So there's an ass for every chair. There's, somebody out there, that you're able to talk with and communicate with better or worse or whatever.
I'll attract my tribe. That's a very common thing that's said within our industry. You will attract your clients. You will attract your clientele. The people that see your value, that like your personality, that see the worth in you are going to sit with you. So don't worry, because this is another thing I had to learn. Quality over quantity.
Yeah.
That just because I have 10 clients in one day, which might look good to the average person, doesn't mean that those 10 clients are going to stay with me and continue staying. I may have one person coming out of that, but that one person may stay with me for years and years. Yeah. Exactly. And that's why I feel like there's no competition, because there's so many people and there's so many people around that why are we even fighting? And I know that there is this this competition kind of vibe going in our industry. Sometimes people will get petty. They'll even try to take other clients from other people. And I just not like that.
It kind of seems like if you're
I'm not very competitive, I guess. I don't know.
Well, but so the place that the last place that you worked, right? So it kind of seems like your business is relationship based anyway. You know what I mean? So like the last place that you work, you might get the walk-ins coming to you for the first time, but then they're like, oh man, I really like the way Vickki did my whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then so, you're going to keep coming back to set appointments with Vickki, right? Yes. So if Vickki leaves and then it's like, oh, well, of course they're not going to tell you where she went, but then it's like, well, okay, let me try this person. You know what I mean? And it will or won't go. But my point to that tangent there was just relationships. So completely. Your client base is based basically around the relationships that you've made.
Yes, completely. Like absolutely completely. Like my clients and how I talk to them, they can tell me things that stay in between us, and having that trust, being able to intimately know someone can actually enhance my skills in making them feel beautiful even more. Yeah. I'm going to tell you a little story about what really impacted me, and this kind of like gave, the real reason why, and like why I love doing what I'm doing. Now, granted, this was at the other 9-to-5 job, but still this impact means so much. Sure. I had a lady come in. We decided to wax her brows, everyday thing to me. I'm not thinking anything of it. Well, I didn't know anything about this lady. And this lady had been in her house trapped for 3 years due to depression. Severe depression. Didn't go out. This was the first time she was out in public ever. She was with her friend. I waxed her brows.
How did you come to find out this information?
I waxed her brows. Mm-hmm. She started crying. And at first I was like, oh no, did I do something wrong?
Does that hurt?
Yeah. Like, no. And she's like, no, I'm crying because I feel so beautiful. And I was like, wait, what? She was like, this is the first time I've been out of my house in 3 years since my divorce. And I've been severely depressed. Mm-hmm. And my friend went with me and I was really scared. But I look so beautiful. And this is the first time I've felt beautiful in 3 years.
Wow.
That's why I do it.
How many of those stories do you have?
I have a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah. You got to get them talking, get them a little bit comfortable. Sometimes we'll have clients that are in the bed, in the chair, and let's say they're worried because they had watched some horror story about waxing or something. You know, you can tell that they're uncomfortable. And most of the time, like for instance, see this in teenagers, especially teenage boys. Teenage boys, a lot of the times feel very uncomfortable coming into a room that's pink, first off, because my treatment room's pink. I try to change it blue to make it a little bit more comfortable.
Put a blue candle.
Yeah.
There you go, buddy. Just look at the candle.
But you got to get them talking, talk about them. It's like, hey, you know, like, what do you like to do? What grade are you in? What's your favorite?
What do you see teenage boys for? Acne?
A lot of the times, acne. They have very clogged pores. They don't know what to do. Either their mother or their sister brings them in, or, you know, they're scared. And so they're like, Mom, can you talk to her for me? Did you know that the sun is responsible for 80 to 90% aging? 10 to 20% of that is like genetics, things you may eat, smoking, things like that. The majority of it is actually from the sun, UV rays, lighting like this, like what's above me.
This is bad lighting?
No. You know, like those ones that go, like those. I'll
replace those with these.
Oh, perfect. Because those emit the same UV rays. So UV rays damages DNA. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you have ever heard of trucker face. Have you ever happened
trucker face?
Yeah. Have you ever happened to hear of it?
I've heard of Setzer face. And
oh, God.
People usually say, well, you know, that's Setzer face.
So this man was a trucker for over 30 years. And being a trucker, you have most of the sun on one side.
Get the hell out of here.
Uh-huh.
Let me see that.
Yeah. That's what the sun does. So that one side that was exposed to that sun constant with no sunscreen, no protection, no nothing, the DNA broke down. Like completely broke down. Oh, is it going to... There you go. Yes. So that side completely broke down from the UV rays. It damages DNA on a molecular level. And a lot of people do not know that. So we have to start them young. And that's also another reason why I have a lot of people coming in. They're searching so they can undo that damage.
Would there be any help for that guy?
For him, we would have to go to more of a medical setting. He would have to go more to like a medical spa. He might even have to get surgery, if anything.
That's crazy.
But yes, 80 to 90%.
What would you say is your most common, typical client, if there is one?
Women usually ranging between like late 20s to about 60s, like that range.
Big range.
Yeah, that's a big range. I know, but I'm like I have women just from that middle age. You know, that middle age like area of their life. It's not that I don't have a lot of children. I do have a set of teenage clients.
Their priorities are way different than
skincare. Exactly. They're at soccer practice and stuff like that. My average person is the one either going to college, a mother, someone who's had kids, someone who's retired possibly. I have a lot of Army people. I have a lot of people that serve in our armed forces that are from the bases that come. A lot of them. I have a lot of retailers, right? No, realtors. There we go. Realtors. I couldn't even freaking think. Realtors that come in. So yeah, I just have a broad range. Really, I don't really have an average.
So how does like we were saying, kids usually priorities are way different. How is it word of mouth? Like so, for example, right? I know jack shit about all of this. It's been very interesting to hear some of the stories that I've been talking about with Amanda and what you sat with here. But so, since I'm so ignorant to all of this, if I'm like, oh man, you know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And Amanda says, oh, well, if you went to see Vickki, she could do whatever. Okay. Mm-hmm. So to me, that is word of mouth. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that I'm being educated by my friends or whatever, and they're saying, hey man, Ashley, you need to go, you can put some lotion on or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So most people that come to your, to come to your business or that use your services, right? Is it like that, or is it just inherently known for women that these things are whatever? You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm asking?
So like, I feel like most women inherently know what a spa is.
She's shaking her head. She's shaking her head. Nuh-uh.
No, do you not know?
Okay.
You had to go. Okay. So usually, it's from word of mouth. Like for instance, I had a client. She was like in her 50s, and we did a micro on her, and she left. She was beautiful. She was glowing, and she came back, and she's like, "You're gonna have to give me some more business cards because everyone thought I was pregnant, and I am 50, and they want to know who you are. They want to they want to look like me."
Nice.
So usually that's what happens.
Okay.
It's typically, walking billboard. People are like, oh my God, your skin is so beautiful. What do you do? Oh, I go to her. Here's her card.
Well, because, I think that just sitting here talking to you, there's a lot of information that goes into the very intricacies of skin.
Yes.
So it's like,
it's your largest living organ.
So, and not knowing, when it's doing something different, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to, if it doesn't hurt and if it does not look horrible, I'm probably not going to look too much into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's probably, I'm just,
and that's perfectly fine.
But so, you can feel the ocean with shit I don't know about skincare. So I guess for me to break that, you know what I mean? That would have to come from my inner circle people of saying, hey, dude, that could be treated, or that could be fixed, or that could be whatever.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because I don't want to know all the shit that you know.
Oh, no, I know so much.
And I
think I could scar you. I think I could.
So, what would you consider to be the biggest myth about skincare?
So a lot of the clients I have, like I said, they are darker complexioned.
Okay.
And a big myth that I hear is I don't need to wear SPF because I'm darker. My skin protects me from the sun.
Really?
No, that is not what it does. It takes longer for you to burn. Yes, it does. And that does have something to do with the melanin, but you can receive just as much sun damage as me.
Well, I was going to say the damage is still being done. It's just taking longer to show up.
In skincare, skin cancer is completely preventable. Completely 100% preventable. Skin cancer is on the rise actually because of the breakdown of the ozone layer.
Okay.
And people from younger demographics, like in our 20s, are getting cancer. I had one of my friends who is 24, mother of 3, have stage 3 melanoma on her back. Didn't even know it was there.
On her back.
On her back, like on her shoulder, kind of like.
So I would assume that's from exposure to the sun.
Yes, exactly, because she wore a lot of tank tops.
Oh, okay,
she's down in my hometown where it's like hot and swampy.
How do you come up with your? I don't want to say value, but value. I mean, how do you assign a value to a particular thing? Some of it I know is going to be driven by the market.
Yeah, it's basically mostly driven by the market. I go around looking at the general prices of myself, and then I look at inwardly, like if I was a paying client,
right.
If I was going to come in here, how much would I be willing to pay if I knew that I was, kind of new, especially coming out into the market? Because I didn't want to sit here and make people think that like, oh, I'm so experienced and I know that, and then I mess up someone's face.
Have you messed up anybody's face?
No.
Not get 145.
Not that anyone's come back and told me. Not that anyone's come back and told me. Like so far, no.
Are there male estheticians?
Oh yes. Yes. Oh yes. They're it's not very talked about. It's
really
it's a little minority. No, there can. We've actually had conversations about this on some of the Facebook groups for estheticians. There is a category, but they're on the rise. There's more male estheticians coming into our field.
Is there any kind of advantage, I guess, to being a woman that you would understand better than a man doing the same profession?
I think the only thing that I would have experience in that a man would not, because everything else would be level, is when it comes to hormonal acne and understanding intimately woman hormonal acne.
Okay, parting words of wisdom. Mm-hmm. What advice would you give any a buddy that was looking to be an esthetician?
That it's just as good as a college education. I feel like a lot of people look at trade schools and they're like, they feel lesser because it's a less successful. there's a stigma. It's not. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel bad. You go for it. You're going to make good money. This industry is growing. This is worth it. If you want to go do something more with your life, but you don't have enough money to go to college or whatever the situation is, you know, go for it.
What is your most sought after service?
The microderm.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Resurfacing. They just want to be nice and smooth and get rid of acne. Most of my clients have scarring from previous acne from like puberty and things like that, and they just want to get rid of it, and they can't stand it, and I'm right there to take it off.
What question didn't I ask you that I should have?
I can't think of any. I think you asked. Yeah, you did it.
What is it?
I can't think of any.
Was this boring for you?
No, this was actually very fun and engaging. If I was boring, I wouldn't be able to hide it. I'm one of those people. I'm like, if I'm not happy, you're going to see. Yep, you're going to know it. I might be trying really hard, but I can't.
Well, this is really, this is, I'm like I said, I'm fascinated by this, the entrepreneurship in people and, all the different businesses. There's so many different things out there people can do to make a living and be happy.
Yes.
And I like talking about it. So
there's a job for everyone.
Yeah.
There's a career for everyone.
Ask for every chair.
Exactly.
I really appreciate you coming in. I had a really good time.
I had a great time too.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
What do you do to reset?
To reset.
Self-care. Unplug.
I ran away for 2 weeks.
You ran away for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Anywhere in particular? And why
coast.
2 weeks?
The coast usually is where I run off to, or
Any
go on
coast
some
or
trip.
Texas
I like
coast?
Port A, yeah, just because it's close. Usually it takes me a week to 2 weeks to reset, just because I work so much and I spread myself so thin and I take on so much that it takes a while to decompress.
Sure, yeah, I understand that.
And I just go anywhere I can. Like, for instance,
anything in particular you do at the beach? Just look at the water, or do you go fishing?
See seashell. I can't
seashells. I didn't see it. You got me. Seashells.
Yes, I like to look for them. Yes, I like to look for those.
All right.